let's talk ethics and decision making. For me, Purple Bicycle have gone a long way to ensure that they have a well understood, well documented, and well communicated message around how decisions are taken within the organisation. I think that their approach to ethics is very sound. They understand that a focus on ethics is not something that you just do when times are bad. You need to focus on it when times are good, so people are understanding or get a little more clarity from the organisation in those areas of grey. So before we jump into the code of conduct, I guess I wanted to cover the fact that ethics are very grey areas. Things that are clearly legal and clearly ethical, there's nothing grey about that. Clearly illegal, clearly unethical, nothing grey about that. And there's that whole bunch of stuff in the middle that can be interpreted differently by different people under different circumstances within different contexts. So having an approach and a discussion around that, which was originally undertaken by the board, is a really healthy thing to do. The other thing is that you don't really get an ethical dilemma if it's straightforward. So as I said before, if it's really clearly okay or really clearly not, there's no problem there. It's that grey that concerns you. The other thing I suppose it's important to understand about ethical dilemmas is usually by doing what we believe is ethically right, usually means forsaking something that is positive. You have to give something up. It's that balance in there again. So making an ethical decision becomes a bit of a dilemma for an organisation because it means you have to forego something that was quite desirable as well, a contract, a deal, a pricing arrangement, whatever it has to be. Hence the dilemma, hence the need for clarity and guidance for organisations. The other thing I wanted to touch on with regards to ethics is that your directors and leaders, or the board, I guess, have a responsibility for setting the tone from the top. This is how we will deal with ethics in the organisation. These are our values. This is what drives us as an organisation. They'll define that identity. But all the leaders within the organisation have an absolute accountability to ensure that is well understood, to make sure they've created an environment in which, or an ecosystem, if you like, in which that is encouraged. The support networks are there, the frameworks are in place. Not only do people know what to do, they know where to go if they're unclear. They understand that this is just how we do things around here. So it's just part of your DNA. So that's your accountability as leaders to ensure you create that environment, a safe environment for your team. Purple Bicycle have implemented that through a code of conduct. That's how most organisations approach this. I think what's really important is that the board at Purple Bicycle has started this process through a consultation with lots of staff. They formed a focus group to get an understanding of what needs to be in there, what is grey, what's not, what has to be documented, what scenarios should we specifically tease out, how do we want to deal with customers, staff, business partners, the community. There's lots of very specific information in there that is great guidance. It has been reviewed by Legal and Audit. It has become, if you like, a part of MPB's DNA as they deal with organisations. Our contractors who come in have to submit an understanding of the code of conduct. We do have a compliance plan around it to ensure that it is reviewed annually, that all staff and contractors and suppliers working with us have to submit an assessment on it every 12 months. So it is very much a living, breathing part of how we define ethics within the organisation and how we take decisions. It gives clarity on that, and it does, I think, really help with understand this tone from the top that the board is trying to set to bring down. The code of conduct is available to everyone and is available online. It gets reviewed annually. It's a very strong, very healthy document, and I think it's a great testament to how the organisation is looking at that how. So there's all the what, as I've talked about before, the policies and the frameworks and the strategies and the plans and the KPIs. But this is the core of the how. This is how you run as an organisation. I think this helps us understand behaviours, drive behaviours, and I think is a key element to the corporate governance framework at Purple Bicycle.